from the Zimmer Radio Network headquarters.
Communism is the single greatest threat to our country and its history.
It's your morning addiction.
2/3 of this country believe that wages ought to be higher. Even most Republicans think we ought to.
Wake Up Missouri with Stephanie Bell.
I will not be welcoming Benjamin Netanyahu or any other war criminals.
And now introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
Constitution. What color is the carpet in front of you? On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution. Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyer is sitting behind you now, shifting nervously in their chairs. They know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people.
Well, there's Josh Hawley with the statement heard round the world yesterday. I'm sure you've heard it, but it's good to hear it again, isn't it? When he, after, I don't know at that point how many times Anthony Fauci had, said the Fifth Amendment thing, he had to read it. You'd think he would have memorized it. 111 or 12, depending on whether I was watching Fox or CNN, but it's a lot. And I think what Josh Hawley said there has been maybe questioned by people the likes of Jonathan Turley. Others have said no, the retroactive pardon from 2015 or 2014 all the way through January of 25 per Joe Biden wouldn't apply, as you said yesterday, to what he would have said yesterday. But if you're not under investigation or, can you take the fifth in anticipation of, no one knows. But a lot of people, Stephanie Bell, are saying, not going to go anywhere. He's going to get off, except for his reputation being forever tarnished.
Yeah, he sealed his fate yesterday.
He's done.
I mean, this is how he will be remembered.
And you know what I got to thinking about it. This morning on my way in, I heard the Fox people saying, I think it was, I forget which host, Ainsley, I think, said Dr. Fauci. I don't think he deserves that title anymore. He doesn't deserve that title anymore. He's been a disgrace to the medical profession. I've heard many docs and others on analysis say what I think a lot of us are thinking. He disgraces the profession. He did not follow the tenets of the medical profession with ongoing and always, except in the rarest of instances, uncertainty and willingness to look at new information. I shouldn't say uncertainty, but always open to new information.
Rand Paul still thinks they can prosecute him.
Yeah, I know. He said that
repeatedly.
And they're going to bring it to a committee vote next week on contempt charges.
Right.
But, I mean, wouldn't that have to then pass in the Senate, which I think I've heard it's a 60, that's got to pass that threshold, which is not going to happen.
Well, Josh Hawley said he's got that reactive pardon going back to Joe Biden, so he's free and clear from the sound of it.
And the question is, if you have a pardon, are you obligated to answer? Do you waive your Fifth Amendment rights? Isn't that the way that some are proposing might happen?
I think Hawley's take was he wasn't entitled to pleading the Fifth Amendment.
That's what That Fifth Amendment right, that's what he just said there. Play it again.
Clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege.
I don't know the specifics of that case, but theoretically, let's say that someone is convicted of murdering someone. The judge says you're convicted, you're going to prison, blah, blah, blah.
And then later you say you murder them. You're pardoned for that. I think the concern probably is that he could tell a new lie that's not within that time period yesterday. And then would not be prosecuted for the stuff he did during COVID, but he would be prosecuted for the lies he told yesterday.
He did not have a prospective pardon.
Correct.
That's one way of looking at it.
Again, I will caveat this with I don't practice criminal law, so this isn't my expertise, but that would have been how I would think that. But I think for the members of Congress, they want to talk about the past, right? They want to talk about what was going on in the time period in which he was covered by a pardon. So I can see where Josh Hawley's coming from. And, what color's the carpet? What color's your tie? I plead the fifth.
Well, he looked like a fool. He just looked like a darn fool. I mean, why would his attorney have told him, or maybe there wasn't a discussion that, but why not answer the obvious, easy questions that have nothing to do, that you could never get charged with, and just say, yes, the carpet is blue,
Well, wasn't there some sort of ruling that if you answer one question, you waive your Fifth Amendment rights? I think that's what I heard.
I didn't know that.
I don't take that. You
can't
for fact.
selectively
I am a
take
22-year-old.
I don't know.
I am a dropout. Do not take that for legal advice, but that's what I heard.
I didn't know you could do that. Well, I don't know. Free legal advice from producer Drake this morning on Wake Up Missouri.
That's right. We'll put a call out to Jennifer Bukowski and let her weigh in for us.
I'm sure she'll be addressing it on our show on Sunday. But I think Rand Paul, did sum it up in the end of his opening statement like this.
A pardon may protect a person from criminal prosecution, doesn't rewrite history. It does not erase documents. It does not convert a misleading statement into a truthful one. And it does not prevent Congress from establishing what happened.
And he went on to then speak about the further damage, the ripple effects out of this whole affair.
There will be another pandemic. There will be another crisis. And there will again be officials who insist that uncertainty must be hidden for the public's own good. They will demand obedience. They will invoke science. I am the science, as though it were a commandment. They will argue that government officials cannot be questioned because questioning them would undermine public trust. They have it backwards. It is secrecy that destroys trust. It is arrogance that destroys trust. It is censorship that destroys trust. And it is the refusal to admit error that destroys trust.
Could that same speech have been given in one way or another to Jim Clapper, John Brennan, Andrew McCabe, those in the DOJ that weaponized that department against Donald Trump? And now trust has been eroded in that institution. I mean, I think it goes not just to what Fauci did, but to what a lot of institutional leaders do. We've seen preachers, big mega preachers, get in trouble because they get full of themselves. They think they're immune from any kind of accountability for their behavior. We've seen it happen in NGOs, and I think that's a little line that maybe ought to be played throughout schools and discussed in civics classes. And they talk about character building in schools and teaching kids about integrity and doing the right thing and telling the truth and all that. Well, maybe there's something there. And maybe that ought to be watched by every student that becomes student president, student body president, or becomes the valedictorian or the salutatorian. It might tell them a thing or two. Looks like Dan wants to weigh in. Dan, welcome to Wake Up Missouri.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I appreciate what they're trying to do with Fauci. But I think this, and I'm a guy who follows this pretty seriously, the most egregious, I like that word, thing to me is not all their behaviors, because that's human nature. It's the fact that nobody, not one person from Hillary Clinton through the litany of people has ever been held accountable. And that's what destroys trust in government. There will always be bad people who do bad things in the name of righteousness, but it never gets corrected. I mean, I even go as far as Lindsey Graham, who I like. How in the world is his sister the most qualified person to take over his role? It reeks of, like, what do you call it,
nepotism
or whatever.
Nepotism,
come on, man.
Yeah.
Literally,
yeah.
Not one person in the 20 years we've listened to Sean Hannity rant, and we've listened to Jim Jordan say, by God, we're going to get him. Not one person goes to jail. Nobody.
Dan, let me offer you this. We used to live in a country where there were out-of-government and non-judicial system guardrails on behavior. It was called the Judeo-Christian moral ethic. That no longer exists. In a postmodern world, accountability is just what I want it to be. And our system was designed, John Adams said it, our founders said it, without a religious and moral nation, this democracy can't survive. And I'm paraphrasing. We've lost one part of that. Yeah. If you live in essentially I'm my own truth, I'll do what I want, and that survives, that's swimming in an ocean that gives a lot of deference to the perpetrators. That's why we're at where we're at. Thanks very much for the call. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, that's the way we're at. There are no extra governmental guardrails, or there are very few. There are no normal assumptions of what normal acceptable behavior is anymore. This guy would have been drawed and quartered. He wouldn't even made it to the. He'd have been put in the stocks in the public square 100 years ago.
I'm going to push back on that. I think the guardrails are the voters, and I think that. Oh yeah, I mean, we voted Trump. This wouldn't have happened with like any other president, but we somehow got Trump elected in 2024. Now he's here. He's holding the hearings, and I bet that the DOJ does prosecute.
The fact that Ryan Kohlberger isn't laughed out of the courtroom yesterday by the judge tells you an awful lot about what's wrong with our system under our current ethical environment among large numbers of the population. The judge should have said, I've heard that this guy's going to do that. Forget about it. Don't even submit your brief. Forget about it. You sat in my courtroom. You said you murdered 4 people. You knew what the score was. And just because you don't like getting pablum on toast for breakfast, sorry, dude, get out of here. And I'm saying it metaphorically. Of course, there's a process. There's no guardrails on this cat. Where's his parents saying, dude, you killed 4 people. You're going to be in prison. Daily DC Rundown coming up. Steve Bucci later on Iran.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
explain and validate everything that I've done. So, it's going to be inconvenient if they actually are out there essentially threatening to make my life miserable. But I'm going to do what I need to do, and that is cooperate fully because we have nothing to hide at all.
Flashback to 2022. Here it is with the Daily DC Rundown. Stephanie Bell.
I'll take things that didn't age well for 500, Alex.
You got it.
Fauci said, I have nothing to hide. I'll cooperate fully. He definitely didn't cooperate yesterday when he took the fifth over 100 times, didn't answer what color his tie was or what color the carpet was. And, what we thought was going to be fireworks and we would find out more about what's in his Dear Diary notes. We found out very little other than he's got an army of attorneys, one who can't be quiet and got kicked out.
How did they get his diary? I guess it was actually emails, right? It was digital, I think. So they must have gotten it through there. I can't imagine you'd get some kind of a handwritten diary that you keep in your nightstand.
Again, I'm flabbergasted that grown men write to their Dear Diary every night. But maybe, if you are snuggle up every night and open your key heart-shaped lock and write in your diary, I want to know about it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have people wrong. Maybe this is the common practice.
Drake does.
All right, and I feel like a broken record again. What's that? Remember that commercial where the girl couldn't see over the dash and she'd be like, I can't see. And they're like, raise the seat. Like, I can't reach the pedals. Lower the seat. This is kind of how I feel about Iran. Yeah. It's like bomb Iran. The next day, okay, we're press pause. The next day, bomb Iran. So yesterday we started bombing again. The U.S. conducted 2 hours of heavy strikes Wednesday night against command centers, missile and drone facilities, coastal defenses, and other maritime capabilities. The U.S. and Saudi Arabia also conducted joint strikes again against Iran-backed militias in Iraq. So it's less of a ceasefire and more of an intermission. I think that's what we should start calling this. When we take a little pause, we're taking an intermission from the bombing, but we're back on it.
Reminds me of an old day with a broken record. It just keeps skipping back a couple grooves, and you keep playing the same old tune.
And good thing it's not a feel-good Friday, because we're learning about a new Emerson College survey, which apparently shows Abdul El-Sayed up quite largely, 15 points in Michigan over Haley Stevens in that Senate primary. Can you believe it? They're spending a ton of money against him, and he's up by 15. If he wins by 15, I don't know.
Well,
I can't. It's
the people are worked up.
At the same time, is it a benefit for Republicans? Because while the Democrats, want these types of people in these primaries and they keep winning, that makes it tougher for them in the general election, I think. So it could be ultimately a benefit.
I think it's a win-win either way. Even if there's a couple of senators that are absolutely cuckoo and congressmen, their full goods will be on full display all the time. It'll be a beautiful thing.
And yesterday in D.C., apparently Todd Blanche's confirmation got a bit derailed. Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley canceled the committee vote because he's saying Blanche lacks the support. John Cornyn and Tom Tillis want written confirmation that Trump's proposed anti-weaponization fund is dead. So it's really just postponed and some posturing, but it's kind of unusual, I think, Randy.
Yeah, that was that deal, what, $1.8 billion or something for the...
$1.776 billion.
Wow. Hey, they're looking at a national security probe of Chinese Communist Party for intervention in an IPO. Stay tuned for that. several lawmakers are wanting to have some national security probing into a Chinese chip giant. Have you heard of CXMT, Stephanie?
I sure haven't.
Yes. Shangqin Memory Technologies. They did an IPO in Shanghai on Monday, and they raised almost $9 billion. And U.S. officials are saying real suspicion that, guess who, the CCP, because aren't they really in control ultimately of all of the businesses over there?
Of course.
If they want to be, played a role in this. And the Pentagon has designated that firm as a Chinese military company. And so they get this huge infusion to build chips. And you know those chips are going to find their way into technologies that Americans use. And the concern is that, you know, this is going to get into our lives, learn about us, at a minimum, be able to manipulate our algorithms, be able to somehow modify what we hear, what we see. At least that's the concern. Do you think it's paranoia or is it real?
I think it's real. I mean, a stock doesn't naturally soar. Apparently in one day it soared 466%.
And here's the thing. Who's your favorite company on the planet? Apple?
Pretty much.
Wall Street Journal reported earlier this month that Apple's been lobbying the government to buy chips from CXMT owing to a shortage amid the ongoing AI boom. You okay with that or not?
No, I think China's a real risk, and I think, they can flood the market with these chips, and that hurts us. And I think what we learned during COVID is that if we don't make our own and we aren't self-reliant, that these companies can hold us hostage, or not companies, countries can hold us hostage, and that's a dangerous place to be.
So it seems like one after another, whether it is pharmaceuticals and other medical supplies that we learned, everything being made in China, a lot of it in India as well. We better have our own supply because we never know when we're going to get cut off for a reason or another. Maybe it applies to chips, and maybe there should be some, and I know they passed the CHIPS Act and all that, but is that enough? And should we really, is this an argument for the government? Is this one argument for the government really getting deeper and investing and being partners with American chip makers?
No, that's the whole thing, too, on the whole espionage side of the industry with the underground groups who are going after the U.S.'s top technology and sneaking it to the Chinese under the table.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to start thinking long term, and it's so hard in today's day and age to just think about the long-term implications of your decision making. And for decades, we have been handing China manufacturing capacity because consumers want cheaper goods. And it came with a price tag, and that's national security. And I think now we're thinking, oh, maybe that wasn't such a good idea, but we kind of made our bed, and now it's coming to a head, and we're going to have to decide how to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting argument. I mean, if those are the rules they're playing by, that they take government resources to fund essential, globally impacting and manipulating for the benefit of China industries, should we play by those same rules too? And so it's sort of the old, if someone brings a gun to a knife fight, you better get out your gun. 573-874-9390, the text line, if you'd like to call us. That's 1-800-529-5572. Well, okay, so how do we calibrate that with what President Trump said to Jackie Heinrich in the Oval Office during his usual gaggle that he has almost daily, it seems, but several times a week anyway, when he said this about China supplying, shoulder-fired anti-aircraft missiles. Did you see that, John? I mean, that's the new news. We're going to ask Steve Bucci about that at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, that's gone back several months now that's what they think shot down the F-15E.
So in light of this, yeah, you're right. And in light of this chip story, the president's answer to her, a different realm, a different domain, China supplying arms to Iran, this just struck me as maybe blind or complacent or maybe just hopefully keeping your cards close to the vest.
President Xi told you that China would not give or sell Iran any weapons. And there's a new report that Iran's about to get 400 rocket launchers from China going through Pakistan to Iran.
Well, that would be surprising. I mean, things like that happen, but that would be surprising. He told me very strongly he wouldn't partake, and he knows I'd be quite disappointed. Yeah.
I don't know. There's an overt level of trust that I'm not comfortable with. From George Herbert Walker Bush to Bill Clinton to G.W. Bush to Obama to Biden, I don't think it applied to the same Donald Trump one that said it's a China virus. These presidents are lulled into complacency by Xi Jinping.
Wait, that's what HW stands for in George H.W. Bush? Herbert Walker?
Herbert Walker, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought it stood for, like, huge wiener or something.
He was very tall.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I thought. Okay, yeah. Duly noted.
It is 6:42 in the morning.
Well,
Drake Whitman, ladies and gentlemen.
Missouri. Wake up, Missouri. Holy cow. Wow, that one came out of nowhere.
It's just something I thought was a thing. I don't know.
What are they teaching kids these
What
days?
do you think of that? Well, that would be surprising. Yeah, things like that happen. That'd be surprising. How's he going to feel if a few more service members get shot down out of copters or planes by rocket-fired grenade launchers from China or whatever they are, missile launchers? Yeah, things like that happen. Tell that to the parents of fallen soldiers.
You say this like Trump isn't tongue-in-cheek. You could definitely tell there's some sarcasm there. Like, they've definitely worked out a deal.
That's not what the people want to hear.
Okay.
That's not what the people need to hear. When the majority of the people are against this war. Stephanie referenced it earlier. She was reporting. She wasn't, I don't think, analyzing at that point. But it's like, what's this tit for tat? We wait and hold back until they hit us, then we smack them back, and then we stand back and rope-a-dope, and then we hit them back. I mean, people are getting tired of this nonsense. And meanwhile, he droned on and on about the Dulles Airport rebuild. And you've been to Dulles, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not a pleasant scene. Parking garage is half a mile away from the terminal.
They're going to make it better. Make Dulles great again.
He's a great developer. There's no doubt about that. Developing an airport in a garage, you could tell he was real passionate about it as he talked about it.
Yeah, might want to concentrate on the job at hand, right?
I'm sorry. There's so much good about this guy, but then there's so much that you scratch your head and go, what in the world are you thinking, man? It's just, on the one hand, we know that the Chinese are just doing whatever they can. We've reported on it in many ways.
Well, Russians providing satellite intelligence to Iran's the other accusation as well.
This get along with evil guys in the world just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not certain. I'd have to go back and read history, but did the mayors of New York meet with the Corleone family?
No, usually they were paid by them, weren't they?
Well, that's a fictitious family. But do people of goodwill leading a noble country and a great people bother by talking with and making agreements with evil people who want to destroy you? I don't understand why we talk. You made fun of me before when I said I think Biden had it right when he didn't talk. Don't talk to Putin. The heck with Putin. Don't talk to Xi. You lay down the terms. There's no negotiating with evil people.
Isn't this exactly what happened in the Iraq War, where it was proxied by Russia? I mean, if we just don't talk to China, if we don't talk to the other people to at least try and take care of one problem at a time, I mean...
Well, you can talk to them, but you lay down the law. Like this negotiating with Iran. I've said it. The negotiation should be at what place and at what time would you like to wave this white flag, and with what color pen would you like to write the surrender document? Sign the surrender document. That should be our posture. That's the starting point, and we shouldn't waver from that. Well, look where it's gotten us. Everyone's running with their tail between their legs because at the hands of terrorists and Xi Jinping and little rocket man in North Korea. I don't know. It's frustrating as heck.
That's a question for Colonel Booch.
Okay, I'm going to write it down here so I don't forget about it. Remind me. Ask Booch about negotiating with terrorists. All right.
There you go.
I got it. We're going to ask him about that. It just frosts my buns to do. I don't get it. It's not. Look, if it worked, I'd get it. We tried to play nice guy. Remember back in the 90s and the 2000s when the general posture of the United States, well, bring China into the World Trade Organization. They'll have free markets. They'll be our friends. How's that working out for everyone out there?
Not very well. Randy, I'm worried about your blood pressure this morning.
Oh, don't worry about me. I'm good. I'm good. It's all good.
Good thing we're going to make people healthy here in a minute.
Yeah. Have I got a story for you? Talk about get you fried up on a Thursday morning. When am I going to talk about that?
Next.
7 o'clock. I got a doozy for you. It's out of this. It's about toddler time at the Boone County Library. Wait till you hear that one. It's a good one. We'll talk about that then. We'll be talking with a candidate for CD6. That is that's the northern tier of counties in Missouri.
That's my district.
Your district.
Yeah, the Salisbury district.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nathan Willett will be with us. He's a teacher. Maybe we should ask him if they still teach history and that you should learn lessons from history in school. Ask Nathan Willett.
Randy's pulling a Fauci over here and keeping a diary on the side of his
He is.
computer.
Yeah, but they'll never say I'm sexy, and I'm proud about it, baby. All right. I have a question for Stephanie when we come back, because researchers at the University of Cambridge would like her to try something out. That coming up on Make Missouri Healthy Again.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
Kirk, I have a question for Stephanie about a news story I found, medical story. So hang on. We'll get to you if Stephanie acquiesces to being involved in this story. Stephanie, you've received vaccines in your life, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What if I told you that there was a vaccine in development that could actually help you? I've been dealing with the ravages of a cold that lasted for a week and a half, and now I got all the inflammations. Finally getting over it, but still problem. Who wouldn't like to have a vaccine against the common cold? You would, wouldn't you?
I'm not getting any more vaccines anytime soon.
So you're not going to volunteer for a new cold vaccine that is not mRNA?
I was going to say another
not
COVID
mRNA.
vax.
No,
So.
No, this is exciting for me. This is really cool. But here's the hook for Stephanie. I think I can change your mind.
I would rather have a cold.
The world's first AI designed vaccine.
That's a no for me,
cold. Is being hyped out of University of Cambridge. So they asked it. They said, now how can you combine? Because the coronavirus is a common cold virus. So they said, how can we make an antigen like most dead vaccines are? They're just like a capsule of the virus or some other component of it, the hook that latches onto you, and then you get that injected in that. Your immune system says, "Oh, foreign body, got to make a reaction." That's vaccine technology. Old vaccine works great. So they did that, and they basically said, analyze multiple coronaviruses AI, create a super antigen with a super antigen that targets the common feature of viruses in the family of corona that could potentially future-proof the vaccine, right? And so I thought, being a lover of AI like you are, you might volunteer in phase 1 trials. There's only been 35 volunteers so far.
My hatred of vaccines outweighs my love for AI, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
I think the only vaccine that I will get for the rest of my life, I mean, I guess I don't really know which ones you need, but I think I might do the shingles vax because I've seen people get shingles and they say it's miserable.
And
otherwise, it's a no.
And there's that data that I talked to a patient yesterday about it. There's data out there that suggests, as you've reported, I've talked about, there might be a connection between shingles vaccine and lower risk of dementia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So probably because dementia has a lot to do with inflammation, and if we're all infected, not all, but the vast majority of people have been infected by the zoster virus, which causes shingles, and so, if you decrease the inflammation, maybe so. So I thought this was exciting. It's a needle-free design, little injector.
You might be the only person on Earth who thinks the vaccines are exciting.
I love vaccines.
You and Dr. Fauci.
No, don't put me in there. All right, medical community out there, 573-874-9390. Don't take that one standing or lying down. Stand up, fight.
Don't you sit down for vaccines? Isn't that?
Yeah, but you don't take the argument against vaccines in comparisons to Dr. Fauci if you recognize the validity of vaccines.
Yeah, where would the world be at if they never came up with a smallpox vaccine back in the day? Or polio?
I've had patients who've had polio. Mitch McConnell had polio. It's a big deal. And, it's almost been eradicated now. But
I mean, I drank things from trash cans in college, and I swam in the Lake of the Ozarks. I think I'm immune from most things at this point.
It's your microbiome.
Yeah, I have a very strong microbiome.
Tell us more about that.
I didn't know you got down and partied like that, Stephanie.
I was in a sorority.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, that's fair.
Come on.
I wasn't in a fraternity.
Really?
I wasn't in a fraternity.
Shocker.
As I told President Moon Choi of the University of Missouri System, my wife and I went to UMSL. I just wanted the ice cream machine to work in the student commons. Hope so. When we come back, more on Wake Up Missouri. Steve Bucci on Iran at 8:05. Toddler time at the Boone County Library. Wait till you hear about this one, 7:08. Stay tuned.
its history.
It's your morning addiction.
2/3 of this country believe that wages ought to be higher. Even most Republicans think we ought to.
Wake Up Missouri with Stephanie Bell.
I will not be welcoming Benjamin Netanyahu or any other war criminals.
And now, introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. If you want to take the trip, climb aboard my rocket ship. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have blast off.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon.
And you might say, Randy, what in the world? Have you lost your mind? No.
Yeah, that song's going to be stuck in my head all day now.
Well, this is a song that my daughter takes the little toddler to most of during the week. I think a couple times a week. The Boone County Library does a here in Columbia, Missouri, and maybe Missouri's around our libraries around our listening area in Missouri might play, and they sing this before they do the reading, the story time. It's called Toddler Story Time. And I told you once they had a dinosaur event. I don't know if that was part of the story time, but they read stories and they talk. And I said, tell me more about this, because we had this rainbow story time that happened last Saturday. And she said, we didn't go to that one. I said, why? You guys know Sammy. She fills in from time to time. And Stephanie, I said, send me the Toddler Storytime promo and send me the Rainbow Storytime promo. You're looking at them here. They're both Storytime, right? At Toddler Storytime, it says, join library staff for rhymes, songs, stories, and fun. Ages 12 to 30 months, walking confidently with an adult. Age group toddlers, event type, story time. Bada bing, bada boom, done. Right? Rainbow Storytime promotional says, join us for a queer-led story time with an LGBTQ plus theme. We'll share stories, sing songs, and do an activity with, wait for it,
Miss Rachel.
time to meet new friends at the end.
Ooh.
Did they get to meet RuPaul? That's what we've all been asking.
But wait, there's more. I know RuPaul.
Oh, you do?
It didn't go over my head. I know about the whole RuPaul
really?
thing.
Okay.
I don't know RuPaul, but I know of RuPaul. I've seen RuPaul. I've seen him, her.
Kind of hard to miss.
So you zoom in on the on what was touted. They've taken Zoom, 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 the song that all the kids love singing and the parents sing, and it's all a beautiful moment. And what you see instead is they've modified this. It's now called the Rainbow Zoom song, the Pride Zoom song. And can you make it out there, Stephanie? It says Zoom. Go ahead and read it.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. There's pride in the room. If you want to take a trip, climb aboard the rainbow.
Yeah. There's pride in the room. Zoom, zoom, zoom. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. Zoom, zoom, zoom. There's pride in the room. All together now.
And she's got a shirt with books, rainbow books that says read with pride.
Now, I got to thinking about this. When did America go from tolerance to embracing?
When we started singing these stupid Zoom, Zoom, Zoom songs. As a toddler, I used to sing like All Star by Smash Mouth. Like, we did not have all these like weird little songs. We used to count our ABCs. We used to do like very simple stuff. We don't have these stupid Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. What are you learning from this stupid song?
What did you sing? Smash Mouth?
Smash Mouth by All Star.
Ladies and
I was a
gentlemen,
Shrek fan.
The thing speaks for itself. How'd that work out for him?
This is...
My point is, look, if something is normal, if the LGBTQ community wants this to be normal, then why do they insist on making it exceptional? I ask the question. Right? I think that's where they make a big mistake. And I just, look.
And again, like, I mean,
I don't care what they want to do, but.
Yeah, I mean, I have been to adult drag shows. I think if you're over 18 and you want to go do that, you can go do that if you want.
Yeah, I mean,
you can make choices. This is for toddlers, though, and it puts parents. I mean, obviously, I mean, I just it puts parents in a strange position because you can say, oh, they're not, the kids. You can choose to take your kids to this or not. And I agree. True. Like Ashland has a Pride Festival. If you don't think it's appropriate for kids, don't go. But I can imagine a family that goes to the library every day and enjoys the other story time. You show up to the library, they're having that story time, and the kids are like, oh, are we going to story time today? And you have to say, no. And then your kids are throwing a fit and they're like, why can't we go to story time? And you're like, well, and I think I was at a sporting event. And I told the kids, yeah, we can go buy the merch. And I don't know if it was like Pride Month or whatever. We go in and they have the team shirts and they're covered in rainbows. I have little girls. They love rainbows. And they were like, we want this shirt. And I said, okay. And I was like, we have to go get a plain shirt. Like, why can't we have a rainbow shirt?
That's just sad.
They were so young. I couldn't explain to them that the rainbow shirt means something different. It doesn't mean you like necessarily rainbows and you're going to be making a political statement by wearing the rainbow shirt. And it put me in a really awkward position. I can see people in the library like that as well. And it's like not a conversation I want to have with 4-year-olds about sexual preferences.
So maybe there's some props there that need to be given to the Boone County Library for being as upfront they were about what the Rainbow Story Time was about, with all the comments about LGBT and all that in their promo of it.
And again, like, I mean, I'm all about we love everybody and we treat everyone with kindness, and it's okay when we interact with people who are different than us and we love them anyway. But having to try to explain the significance of the rainbow to a 4-year-old, then immediately you're talking about sex. And I don't want to talk about sex with a 4-year-old. I'm sorry.
It's too early to sexualize children, whether it's heterosexual or in this realm. But, I mean, talk about cultural appropriation that the left likes to talk about and squeal about, right? If Drake and John and Hauswirth and Lou Zader and me want to do don't forget Hanson. He'd be the leader of the group. If we want to do a little cover on the Village People, and we put on a headdress, oh, you're co-opting, you're culturally appropriating the Indians, the natives. No. Well, it's like you say, they've culturally appropriated for the LGBTQ thing a rainbow. Now kids, it's like, oh, a rainbow. Used to be a beautiful thing. A golden pot at the end of the rainbow, the leprechaun,
And it's God's promise that he won't flood the earth again. That's the whole biblical story of the rainbow. Yeah. I hate sexual deviants. They have ruined everything for me. I mean, whenever I was in high school, I went out to Target and I bought a Hawaiian shirt with pineapples on it. Yeah. If it was a normal, if we were a normal society, we'd say that's a nice shirt. No, everyone thought I was a swinger for it.
I know.
And if I wear rainbows, as a kid, rainbows are cool. They're a great natural phenomenon. No. Now it means that you're a homosexual. And why do we have to make all this stuff? It makes me mad. I don't know. Why can't we
There you go.
Make your own thing.
I'm gonna make you a shirt that's covered in rainbows and pineapples.
There you go.
I told you when we bought this old house, this pre-owned home, I didn't know. The kids were like, Dad, you got to change the doorbell ringer. I'm like, what do you mean? It's old brass. It's like 50, 40 years old, however old the house is. What are you talking about? It's got a pineapple, Dad. I'm like, what do you mean pineapple? That's a.
It used to be a symbol of welcoming.
Yeah.
It was a welcome symbol, and it means like hospitality or something. But
now it means you're even more welcome.
Exactly.
I thought it was an upside down pineapple.
I mean, I think technically, I don't know.
Look how crazy our country has become.
I don't know. If I'm a swinger and I'm like, oh, well, there is a right side up pineapple, I'm still going to knock, I guess. I mean, it still creates problems. Why can't we make our own symbols?
Did you change the doorbell? Or do you still have a pineapple?
No, I got a Ring doorbell now.
Okay.
Not a Ring, it's a Google Home. But no, I didn't do it because of that reason. I just wanted a visual doorbell.
Did anyone random coming knocking on your door?
No.
No couples at midnight or anything?
There was that UPS driver in the short brown shorts that wanted to come in.
Hey, don't hate on our UPS guys. I mean, that outfit's awesome.
Bernie Moreno was sure upset the other day when yesterday, he let Tony Fauci have it.
It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the f*** do you think you were for doing that? It is a total disgrace what you did to this country. And if my Democrat colleagues are standing there defending you, I hope the voters of the United States of America watch the clips of every one of you doting on a guy who was more interested in being a celebrity than saving American people.
I hate you, Randy.
I just had some fun with Drake. I knew that clip had the F-bomb bleeped out. But I looked into the control room and I went,
well,
a little skeptical, and the hands like, if you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, it's like, I'm not sure if it's clean.
On top of that,
Hanson, so he was ready with the drop button.
Hanson was in here and he was like, I hope he edited it. And then immediately after you did that, sometimes I edit the full word. Some people edit just like after the first syllable so you know what swear word it is. No. And I'm already on edge because we're talking about swingers and how they're ruining our culture.
You're fired up.
I'm a little fired up.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get a bunch of pineapple stickers and start sticking them on all your stuff.
It's an idea, rainbow stickers and pineapple stickers.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's where we're going.
You're going to come in and your headphones are going to be covered in pineapples.
Don't you dare, Stephanie.
After yesterday's discussion about a curious and frightened 12-year-old who was suspended because she asked another student if school threat was real, I got another good one for you. What is going on with our school leaders? We'll be back in a bit. You're listening to Wake Up Missouri.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
Today we talked with Dave Rowland from the Freedom Center of Missouri about this case that now with the Goldwater Institute is appealing. A girl was she'd heard on her Snapchat or saw on her Snapchat that there was some threat to the school, one of those mass casualty kind of things. And, off hours, late in the evening, Snapchatted a friend of hers in a different district and said, "Have you heard anything?" And he said yes. And then she somehow recreated it on her Snapchat and anyway, she got nailed for having made the threat according to school officials. And one out of the rest of the cops told the superintendent that she was it. The rest of the cops already told her the next day, told the parents later on when they met with the parents and her. The superintendent had been told that the cops had investigated and she wasn't the cause. She ended up getting suspended for a year, the rest of the school year.
A whole year. That is so insane.
And it was upheld, and Dave Rowland is now fighting that. Well, now we hear of an autistic first grader. Holy cow. In Georgia, John Medina, 6-year-old, suspended after biting his sandwich into the shape of a gun and pointing at a classmate during lunch. We've seen this before.
Funny. That's pretty funny.
We've seen this before. Since 2023, John has been disciplined at least 33 times. 14 suspensions. Incidents like kicking and punching a student at recess, according to school records.
Sounds like it wasn't just the sandwich incident.
Previously suspended for pointing a bottle of water at someone and making gun noises. I don't know. As a kid,
it's a sandwich.
As a kid, we did cowboys and Indians, right? Shoot, shoot, bang, bang. We even had cap pistols, and I wouldn't do it now, but we pointed cap pistols at one another. I know. And then I was taught by my elders, don't ever point any gun at anyone.
I mean, my kids are all about like Nerf guns, water guns, all that.
Marshmallow guns? What are you laughing at?
I just can't go on air with something I thought about now.
Oh.
But Nerf guns are
You've already
goated.
said some pretty wild things this morning.
Nothing else holds you back.
Yeah, well, this directly implicates me, so.
Well, I don't know that there's anything more implication than you could need. I think he feels like a bad kid, said the mom. Told the school she was baffled by the sandwich incident. There were definitely times when he could come home and say, "I'm a bad kid." And that's really hard to hear as a mom.
Oh.
Instead of, altogether now, "You're a good kid that did a bad thing." Right? Two entirely different messages. Well, there are some bad kids, though. Just bad seeds, right? Bad apples. They're just bad. But he's autistic, right? I mean, I guess that raises the whole question is, I wonder if he's being mainstreamed. I wonder about this whole issue of mainstreaming these children who have such, pervasive problems like this and developmental problems and so forth. I don't know that they are best served by being in a general classroom because it takes really special attention and professional expertise to help them, manage and get through. The district said the superintendent is, quote, committed to meeting parents to try to work through these challenging situations that maybe we agree on, that maybe we don't agree on. We're committed to keep coming back to the table and trying to resolve those things. Federal laws prohibit school board officials from commenting on an individual student's disciplinary action. Should the kid have been suspended?
No, not for a sandwich.
573-874-9390. Back in a minute. Stay tuned. Missouri. Welcome in, by the way, Wake Up family. Thanks for being with us. I'm Randy Tobler, Stephanie Bell, John Marsh, and Drake Whitman. We are the Wake Up Missouri team. We're glad you're with us. Talked about how Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has been active in so many realms, whether it's the not slot machines, but the video terminal machines in the gas stations.
Yep.
To all kinds of things. She's been fighting the abortion thing, trying to make sure that abortion providers are having their facilities compliant. Well, that didn't meet with the best outcome, but she's been knocking at a lot of doors trying to protect us. Now she and her colleague in Iowa have written a piece on Fox Opinion that they're suing New York, Stephanie. This is interesting. It's because I guess New York is passed some legislation regarding the transport and safety and environmental impact of biofuels, large amounts of which are produced in Iowa and Missouri. And they're somehow holding or attempting to hold Missouri and Iowa producers of said fuels to some kind of standard. Is that the way I read it?
Yeah, it would require fuel suppliers to register with New York and then track emissions, file annual reports. It has record keeping and inspection requirements.
Wow.
And what Missouri, we're teamed up here, Attorney General Hanaway's teamed up with Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird. And what they're saying is a lot of these fuels produced in Missouri, be it ethanol or biodiesel, are blended with other fuels and then later may wind up in New York. And the law is written so broadly that it could require the producer who has no relationship with New York whatsoever to comply with this law.
Which means a big administrative burden, which means an impact on their business from those producers in Missouri. And I guess that could even go to farmers, right? Or maybe like the Poet plant in Macon or others. And that's just one of these regulatory taxes that's not a tax, but it's a tax.
So Missouri is arguing that this new rule in New York violates constitutional federalism, due process protections, the Fourth Amendment, and federal preemption under the Clean Air Act. And, I mean, it's a huge deal because we know Missouri is a major producer of biofuel. And I think there's a reason why we don't live in New York.
They write that this rule would impose significant compliance costs, reporting obligations, inspections, civil penalties, even criminal liabilities on businesses operating far from New York. And they're like, I don't know who wrote what part of this, but they're like, if New York wants to pass a law that you've got to put your car in a bubble when you fill it up with gas so that the fumes from the pump don't escape,
Is that what's wrong with all those people who voted for Mondami?
Yeah.
They've been inhaling the gas fumes?
Yeah. But
standing over the nozzle too
some
long,
places I know in St. Louis and maybe in Kansas City, you have to have the little rubber thing that blocks off the inlet to your gas
that's
tank.
just St. Louis.
Yeah, I had to put up with that for years. But
this is the whole thing. Yeah, this is the whole New York law revolving around greenhouse gases, and it's just biofuels, correct?
Yeah,
isn't that what they're talking about?
California and Massachusetts regulate how hog farmers around the country operate. California has greenhouse gas disclosure company requiring businesses there to report emissions and climate-related information. New York and Vermont have enacted climate superfund laws, they say. Boulder, Colorado claims international energy companies Exxon and Suncor are liable for harm stemming from worldwide greenhouse emissions. Our Supreme Court's going to hear that this fall. Well, so this is really a discussion for those of you who attended school after school stopped teaching proper civics, which probably was, 20 years ago? This is about federalism, isn't it, Steph? I mean, this is about...
Yeah, there's a reason why I don't live in New York. And the lawsuits are seeking to protect state sovereignty. And, you do you over there in New York, and we will leave you alone, and you leave us alone.
Steph, you're a frequent flyer, aren't you? You're a frequent flyer.
I'd like to fly more.
The Trump administration, according to the former newspaper New York Times, The Trump administration has for more than a year used personal information airline passengers provide. So information you provide is being provided to TSA for immigration enforcement. Is your visa up to date, Steph? Okay. So I think this is a great thing. This is a way to capture people that are overstaying their visa, which is a large amount of the people here that are so-called undocumented. They're illegal.
Yeah, TSA can provide passenger information to ICE that can tell them when and where these people are traveling. And so far, it's been about 30,000 traveler records that's led to over 800 arrests. I'm just thinking, if you're flying and you're dealing with TSA and you don't think the government has your info, I mean, they're scanning your eyeballs. I mean, you go through that machine, it takes like a full body picture. If you're, they know a lot about you. They know what's in your bag. I mean, if you, like, the thought that someone would think, how dare they share my personal information, or they put it in a database. That part to me is insane.
Remember, TSA and ICE are both part of Department of Homeland Security. And the acting administrator there told who else but Dan Goldman, Representative Goldman, that they don't send the information to ICE. So they're not pushing it to ICE, but it's a database across which ICE can then reference if they have an issue, apparently. What she said was, we don't send the information to ICE. We help ICE check against information.
Yeah, and if you're violating the law and you're using services that are subsidized by taxpayer money, and you're voluntarily, you can take a road trip if you don't want the TSA to have your info, but you're voluntarily utilizing these services and offering up your information. I don't see why we can't use it to ensure people are lawfully
Why do you
here.
take a road trip across the Atlantic?
Where are they flying? It didn't say that they were
Or across
flying.
the Pacific if they're going to China. They've overstayed their visa.
Just domestically, you better have your passport or your real ID handy.
Yeah. Got your real ID?
Nope.
What?
I sure don't.
You're just going to passport it?
I use my passport for everything.
I have just terrible anxiety over the whole passport thing. Whenever we have that with us, I'm always checking my pocket, checking my bag, check wherever it is. I'm just nervous. You lose the passport, it's like losing your life. It's like can't fly, you can't do anything.
Can't get onto military installations.
We always carry a copy of our passport, the information there, in somewhere in the. Would that pass muster?
There are stories of people who
don't they have a card that they issue?
I have a card now too. If you have global entry, I'll show it to you. Randy's looking at me funny. You can use the card. I think I've never tried to use the card, but I think that's why they tell you to have a copy. And if you work with a travel agent, generally they have a copy. I have someone has a digital copy, like just in case. And I think what happens, John, when you lose it, you can like go to the embassy and you have to like provide all this. I mean, there's a way to get home, but it's not fun. And then your vacation's ruined.
Well, couldn't be worse than the time our car got down in Cozumel. I rented a car. We were told we could park somewhere.
You rented a car in Mexico?
Yeah. Well, this was years ago when we felt safe in Mexico. This was like 20 years ago. And had a great time. I asked one of the locals, I said, can I park here, this restaurant? Parked there.
Did
came
they speak
out.
English?
Where's your car? Car's not there. Spent the rest of the day
Did it get towed or
bribing
stolen?
the police to get my car back. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Forget about it. It was and then, I don't know if that was this trip, but that was the last time we rented a car. I think it was that trip. We were getting ready to get on the plane or go drop off the car and get on the plane. We come out, and the car's tires are punctured. So some guy in an old beat-up F-150 comes and like an hour later, 30 minutes before the plane, we were literally running onto the tarmac to catch the plane because here we are in the back of the Ford F-150 with our suitcases like, there were tomatoes and cucumbers. I don't know. It was.
Remind me not to travel with Randy.
What are you talking about? That sounds like an awesome vacation.
Oh, man, it was adventure.
Did you have a bag of lettuce beside you, buddy?
No, I didn't bring home any Cryptospora on that one.
We haven't talked about the bacon yet.
Oh, we got bacon. Yeah, there was a
bacon. So
now,
if you're eating a BLT, you can only eat the T? Is that what I'm gathering?
Can't eat the L or the B, huh?
Yeah, there's been a bacon recall
I'm fine not eating lettuce, but don't come for my bacon.
Bit of bacon.
And last week they had a big recall on eggs too. I like a good belt. That's what my husband calls it. An egg on your BLT.
You like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really one for egging it up on everything. I don't like that.
Well, apparently
that's funny.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Apparently now you just get a tomato sandwich. I feel like we're all on the what is
Hold
that?
the mayo.
Yeah, that's the brat diet, right? What do you do when you're like you got tummy troubles? You eat what's the brat diet?
It's bananas, rice, apples, sauce, and toast.
Is that what we're back to
Brat.
at this point?
Getting there, isn't it?
Maple Leaf Foods is recalling 12,000 pounds of its not ready to eat bacon because it was reported into the oh boy, here we go. Reported into the U.S. without reinspection. We should be able to buy bacon imported from central Mexico smeared with cryptospora if we want. You should be able to buy what you want.
Those Canadians and that Canadian bacon, they're doctoring it up because of the tariffs.
What?
You would bet they are.
Think so? Oh, you think? Oh, like the server when you return the dish to the kitchen.
Never
and
send it
you
back.
You never know. Might get a little salivary, gustatory delight there.
Hot take: I don't like maple bacon. I don't like Canadian bacon where it's all sweet. Not a fan.
There's nothing. I'm sorry. I know it's not the healthiest. We don't do it that much, but something about a good old fashioned piece of thick, slow smoked bacon with your eggs and biscuits, man. Once in a while, you just have to have it. I hope Helene's not listening. No, she lets me have that now and then.
She lets you?
She lets me.
Oh.
She's the boss. He knows.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. All you guys out there, you know the boss is.
Where did that come from?
I had to get the whip out for Randy.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah. Oh, boy. John, what's happening when we come back?
Stephanie has made us aware there's a kangaroo on the run in Missouri.
Oh. Yeah.
The question is, did they check IHOP?
Oh. All right. We'll see when we come back. What's up? Stay tuned.
It's Wake Up
For several days here in Missouri was spotted by a FedEx driver Tuesday, but is yet to be captured. Owner Don McClard said Rufus the kangaroo escaped from their Bloomfield property near Sykeston on Friday when he was spooked by an excavator her husband was running. Rufus has remained elusive despite the couple searching with a drone. She said a possible sighting was reported Sunday morning, and said the FedEx driver Tuesday reported seeing the kangaroo crossing Highway 25. They said he is not dangerous and likely is afraid, and notes they may bait him with sweet potatoes, carrots, beets, peanuts, and broccoli, his favorite treats.
Rufus the kangaroo.
That sounds like Randy's diet.
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
Where does one get a kangaroo?
I imagine Australia.
No, oh my gosh, you guys.
From the Tiger King.
Yeah, there you go.
So they do some exotic animal auctions in Macon, a place called Lolly.
Oh, yeah, Lolly's Auction Brothers.
Lolly's Auction. Lolly Brothers Auction.
You think they have kangaroos? They
Near
have
the
like
farm.
emu, don't they?
They have emus, rheas, stuff like
I
that.
often see big, like big hoofed animals there and stuff in the pen. Yeah.
If you're looking at like where you'd find them in the States, more likely than not Texas.
Do you
That's
have
where
to
a lot
have
of them
a
go.
permit to keep a kangaroo at your house?
I wondered.
Also, I think UPS drivers would have some of the best stories. Can you imagine you're just out delivering your Amazon packages and all of a sudden you see a kangaroo crossing the highway? Yeah. Like, who do you call?
I don't know.
Like, what number do you call to report?
Call animal control. It's an animal.
If the cops catch that, though, that guy will probably have to have a permit. I would think.
I know.
To prove that he's.
I think ag has. Is it snakes or something? You do have to have permits for certain exotic animals.
Yeah. We keep our permits like that for kangaroos in our pouch.
Yeah, you'd think the Nazis won World War II with the way that we have to have permits for all these animals.
That's it.
I mean, kangaroos can be really mean, though.
That's what I've heard.
They can, yeah.
He doesn't look that big in the picture.
How old was it?
Also, if you had a kangaroo, would you give it a person name like Rufus?
Rufus. Spelled Roofus is how they spell it.
Oh, that's cute.
They said,
oh, that's sweet.
Doesn't make it back home, he'll be hopping mad, too,
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. Enough. Brookfield. No, Bloomfield. What?
It's down by Dexter.
Brookfield.
Yeah. No, Bloomfield.
Bloomfield.
Yeah.
Down by Dexter.
Sykeston.
Yeah.
I checked because I was going to be on the
Bloomfield.
lookout for the kangaroo if it was anywhere
Maybe
near
he's
here.
up at the hickory log in Dexter eating ribs.
Oh, yeah. What were they going to feed him? Peanuts? What?
Sweet potatoes, peanuts, carrots, beets, and broccoli.
Wow.
It does sound like your diet.
Sounds like a really healthy lunch. I'll bet Rufus has an awesome microbiome.
I bet he does.
Yeah. So do you think they'll find him, or will maybe I'm worried about some predator. What's the predator for kangaroo?
Dingo. The dingo that ate my baby.
Oh, the dingo that ate my baby.
I would think like big cats or something, right?
Probably pack of coyotes get after him.
Could a big bird of prey do? No, probably not.
I don't know. They get pretty, if they're kangaroos, they get 6 feet tall, a couple 100 pounds when male kangaroos.
Uh-oh.
What?
They said, AI says dingoes, humans. Yeah, I mean, I would be afraid someone would want that kangaroo. And then eagles, apparently large birds of prey snatch, especially the kangaroo babies.
Huh. The humans are like big predators because in Australia they hit them with cars like we do.
Oh, really?
Deer.
Like
yeah, and it's a big deal.
Roadkill instead of roadkill.
Okay, haha.
That's good.
All right. Well, we're going to come back and talk to Colonel Bucci, Steve Bucci, our military national security and expert, and he's with us, of course, every week as this conflict goes on. Apparently, there's some new plans to decimate them over there. Finally, whatever that means. And what's China doing? We'll find out.
Bell.
I will not be welcoming Benjamin Netanyahu or any other war criminals.
And now, introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
Morning. President Trump reacting to that Iranian attack on U.S. forces overnight in Jordan. President Trump tells Fox News about Iran, "We are going to beat the effing S out of them." He went on to say, "We'll be hitting them hard. They're going to get a beating."
Well, that was Trey Yingst reporting yesterday after a surprise attack by Iran the night before. Beat the effing S out of them, President Trump told him. Let's figure out what that means, because Steve Bucci, Colonel Bucci, knows everything about what's going through Donald Trump's mind, and he joins us to tell us about it on Thursdays. I'm just kidding, of course, but we thank you for your reaction to this, Steve. What does it mean this time?
Well, again, I don't think I've changed my tune. What it should mean is that he operationalizes that rude phrase that he used by hitting every target that you can even vaguely connect to the ICC. Every facility they own, every piece of ground that they have anything set up on, whether it's a single-man ghost or, their headquarters and everything in between, they should be removed. There should be nothing but a bunch of holes in the ground where they were before. That's the kind of response that we need to have. Now, I know immediately people will say, well, do that. We might have collateral damage. And sadly, that's true, because guys set up some of those facilities like they did with that girls' school that they put in the middle of their base. They do it on purpose. They use their own children to act as shields. Well, we should never deliberately hit a target if we know there's a girls' school there, but we should knock out all the buildings around the girls' school. And, the Iranian people are waiting for us to do that. The vast majority, like 80 to 85 million people, want these guys to go. And we need to set the conditions so that they can chase them out. And the only way to do that is to completely emasculate them militarily. Not the whole army, but the IRGC forces must be destroyed. That's going to take some more bombs. It doesn't necessarily take all smart bombs or anything else for all those out there going, oh, we're going to run out of bullets. No, we're not going to run out of bullets. We've got plenty of offensive capability to use. And by the way, that'll have the other positive effect of pretty much stopping them from being able to shoot back very effectively, which is, they still have at least a remnant of that capability. That's why they're able to do these retaliatory attacks on our facilities. If we take out all the IRGC capability, one, their motivation to shoot back is going to go way down. Number two, their ability to shoot back, I won't say will be 100% gone, because we've said that and it's not turned out to not be true, but it'll be a lot less than it would be otherwise. So two great beneficial effects of operating or of operationalizing that remark that the president made.
We're talking with Stephen Bucci, retired colonel from the U.S. Army and Special Forces guy. Okay, Steve, we're going to talk about what Russia and China in particular are doing to replenish the resources there. But I was struck by something that was reported that Admiral Brad Cooper said, U.S. Central Command commander. He said that halting the bombing campaign around the strait needed to be done. He recommended that because, and I'm paraphrasing here, it had reached the limit of its effectiveness and designated targets are mostly exhausted. If that's the case, why are the straits still all bound up and ships still being, attacked there?
I have to respectfully disagree with the Admiral. I'm with you. If all the legitimate and effective targets are gone, then their capacity to close down the straits should be gone. They're clearly not yet. Now, granted, the effects they're having are pretty limited, but it's enough to scare off the insurance companies and the shipping companies to not sail through. To do that, I think we need to set a policy where anything that leaves the shoreline on the Iranian side, not just in the straits, but anywhere up and down the two sections of coastline there, should be destroyed. We should have A-10s and Apache helicopters with AWACS above them to do the targeting, basically patrolling those things, and anything that comes out, these killers get vectored right in there to take them out. Nobody should feel comfortable going out in a boat, small or large, from the Iranian coastline, nor should anything that flies over that coastline out into the water, should it survive. We've got the capabilities on our ships to shoot down anything they fire at people, but we need to make sure they're there and that they have a complete weapons-free capability to be able to do that. So I think there's still targets there. There may not be a lot of easily accessible, visible launcher targets left on the list. Okay, go for the hard ones now. But they're still there and they're still shooting, so we should still be shooting back to eliminate that capacity. I don't know why the Admiral said it that way. I think that was kind of an overstatement, and admirals shouldn't do that.
Colonel, talk to us about the challenge the military is facing with the Russians providing satellite intel on not only U.S. bases in the region, but also those of our allies.
There's short of going and shooting down the Russian satellites, which I'm not recommending, I don't see how you stop that. I think we need to put some more pressure on Putin to say, hey, we've actually kind of stood aside on a lot of this stuff with Ukraine. If you would not really like us to change that policy in a significant way, maybe you need to stop playing fast and loose with somebody we consider an adversary. I don't mind you being friends with them. It's your choice, kind of bad company to keep, but stop providing them with intel. And then use our technical means to try and scramble at and keep that from happening. I don't think we want to get in a shooting thing directly with Russia over this, but we need to watch it. And if we can really peg that to a facility on the ground that's receiving that information and transmitting it, well, maybe there should be some sneaky Pete guys that get rid of that for us.
That's Stephen Bucci. He served America for 3 decades as an Army Special Forces officer and top Pentagon official, a visiting fellow at Heritage. He joins us on Wake Up Missouri.
I think a lot of people were really unhappy with the first ceasefire deal. But Trump has, restarted these talks. They say that they're ongoing. What does a deal look like that people wouldn't be unhappy with?
For me, I don't think it's worth it trying to make a deal with the Iranian government. They are completely without any sort of scruples about lying and exaggerating and using it to their advantage. They're not really interested in having a deal. They want to keep pressuring us until we go. They're kind of hoping that if they can stretch this out long enough, they can mess up our midterm elections, see the Democrat Party get majorities in the House and Senate, and then they figure that'll tie up President Trump for the next 2 years, and they won't have to worry about him. Now, where do they get these ideas? From our press. They're the ones saying, this could work out for the Dems if this happens. That's not helpful, doing analysis for our enemies. Not that the Iranians couldn't figure that out, but it's a confirmation for them when our own press speaks that way.
but, it's what it is. But they're not worth negotiating with. It is a fool's errand to continue the negotiations in any way, shape, or form. Our negotiations should be done through the barrel of a gun.
Oh, isn't that interesting, Colonel Bucci? I wrote down in the first segment when people were, in
his diary.
I was saying you don't negotiate. Frankly, I don't think we negotiate with Xi Jinping or any of them. You just, when it comes to the Iranians, you tell them the only negotiation is, where would you like to sign the agreement, wave the white flag, and we'll let you negotiate what color pen you'd like to use. That's all we're going to negotiate about. I don't understand it.
I don't either. I've been very understanding, of the president's desire to make a deal. He loves making deals, and he thinks making deals is actually a superior methodology, and normally it is, because you make the deal at less cost and less time and less blood sacrifice than you do if you have to beat somebody into submission. But I think the Iranians have shown that is the only thing they understand. That is the only thing that's going to get them to change their behavior. I mean, look, if you look at what's happened since this started, the Iranians have actually gotten more difficult than they were before.
Yeah.
They didn't claim that they owned the Straits of Hormuz before, and they should control it all and everybody that goes through it until this started.
Yeah.
So they realize they're in a weak position, but they're making these outrageous demands because they think that will basically get us, like every other president that's dealt with the Iranians, to eventually back off and let them do what they want to do. We can't do that. We have to get them to stop doing what they're doing. And I think the only way to do that is through victory, not through negotiations.
Well, that's the last word. I doubt anyone listening disagrees with you, Colonel. Steve Bucci, thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. We'll look forward to next week's chapter in this saga. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Have a great weekend and a great week.
You too. There you go.
I knew I liked him.
Oh, he's great.
Should negotiate from the barrel of a gun.
We'll be back with the morning market report and the morning bell in just a moment.
It's Wake Up.
What's up?
I'm really glad it's not a feel-good Friday because there is nothing to feel good about. The markets yesterday, the Dow plunged 2.19%, NASDAQ 1.74%, S&P 1.52%. It does look like we're going to get a bit of a bump back today. Everybody's in the green as far as the futures go. Biggest losses yesterday were in industrials, technology, and financials, while energy was still in the green. And we're getting a lot of data out, Randy. We got the Fed decision yesterday. And so the Federal Reserve is really, they've been kind of in a no-win situation, but they voted 9-3 to hold interest rates steady between 3.5 and 3.75, although 3 of them wanted an increase in the interest rates. That sent the Dow spiraling down more than 1,100 points. That's its worst decline since Trump's Liberation Day tariff announcement in April 2025. We are also getting GDP data. The economy grew at a rate of only 1.5% in the second quarter. That's down from 2.1% in the last report and below what folks were expecting. Housing investment declined for the 6th consecutive quarter. I'm sounding like Randy today. This is a very poopy pants economic report.
I'm truthful pants.
Just sharing the numbers.
At the same time, Americans did keep spending. We got consumer spending increased at 3.2%. Businesses also continued investing in things like equipment and AI infrastructure. So we keep spending, but the overall economic picture today is looking quite gloomy. And inflation data is out. Their preferred PCE index, the Fed's preferred index, declined 0.1% in June, its first monthly drop since 2020. Annual inflation cooled from 4.1% to 3.7%, and core inflation eased to 3.3%. But of course, the Fed's target is 2%. So it's tough.
Yeah, that's the core. That's stripping out, food and energy.
Yeah, and the Fed is in a really tough place because Americans are spending more. So what do you want? You want expensive loans or you want expensive everything else?
Expensive loans. I think for the average person right now, we want expensive loans.
So you would have been a vote with a 3 to go ahead and bump up interest rates?
Yeah. If it'll cut down on the inflation rate. I mean, inflation rate is an inexorable and a compounding. Like you talk about the value of compounded savings and investment. Well, it works the other way with inflation. The Joe Biden legacy of 9.5% inflation, darn near 10, that's there. And you put 2 or 3% on top of it, it just magnifies that even more. But it's down 0.1%. We'll take it, right? That's good. The core rate. I do agree with Scott Bessent, don't you, that the economy, I think our economy is certainly resilient.
Yes.
And the basic foundation, infrastructure, that the people that make America and make America go, that's the economy. I have confidence that we're there, we'll be there if they just can get some of these other nuisances away, right? Well, they're not nuisances. They're real shackles on us, anchors on us. We can make it go. Got to solve that thing. Bucci is more and more resolved about they're not going to listen. They're not going to negotiate. We've got to get this thing over, don't we? I think so. Back in just a bit with Nathan Willett running for CD6 up in the northern tier of Missouri. Stay tuned. Well, welcome back to Wake Up Missouri on this Thursday morning. Thanks for being with us. Just a few short days until the election. And on the retirement of Congressman Sam Graves, covering a large swath of Missouri. There's been an intense race. We talk now with Nathan Willett, who is a candidate for that Congressional District Seat 6. Welcome in, Nathan. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you for having me on, and thank you to your listeners out there.
I have a question for you right off the bat. You're a math teacher, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So we've been discussing things about not math, but about just general teaching and education in America, and about how a lot of youngsters seem to not, maybe over the last 20 years or more that have been educated, don't seem to have a solid foundation well-rooted in civics and how government works and three branches and on and on and on. You look at these man and woman on the street interviews, and people don't even know that how many senators they have, much less who their senator or their governor is half the time. What do you think about education in America, and what would you do with it should you be elected?
Yeah, well, like you mentioned there, that is pretty concerning that you do see that. But I say this. Education in America we've been pushing college on kids way too much, and that's their definition of success is if you can make it to college or not. We have to have the basics, reading, writing, arithmetic, good civics built in, but we need to be pushing more for workforce development out there. Kids should be exposed in their K-12 education to the trades more. And that's something I've done actually in my own council district here in Clay and Platte County. We have the Northland Workforce Development Center, which is going to open up in 2027. I got $25 million to be the local match to our state dollars here. And that's going to unlock kids being able to, learn the trades, plumbing, electrician, or even take our first responder classes, Fire 1, Fire 2, or law enforcement. And that gives, a sense of direction or a taste of other things besides just pushing college. And I think that's kind of what has been going on. You've been teaching to the test. You've been pushing people to college. And don't get me wrong, you can learn a trade and go to college, but that should not be the only definition of success for the next generation.
Now, your campaign has been backed by some ag groups. You've got some pretty significant endorsements, and I see on your website you've identified 8 priorities. One of those is agriculture. What's your stance, and what do you want to work on should you end up in D.C.?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm very humbled and, excited to have the endorsement of Missouri Farm Bureau, Missouri Soybean Association, Missouri Cattlemen. My grandparents run cattle actually in the city limits of Kansas City and Clay and Platte County. So those endorsements mean quite a bit. And there's a lot of hardworking people I've met along the campaign trail, and I probably have their support. No, it's about standing up. There's over 27,000 family farms in North Missouri and heavy ag district, as you all know. And so it's very important that we have someone who's going to surround themselves with the right type of people to listen to ag leaders. I'm not a farmer myself, even though my family has farmed here for 7 generations, but immediately put together ag steering committee with some of the best people in agriculture and who are, around my age, taking over their family farm. And it's about making sure that we have infrastructure improvements to our rural roads. It's about making sure we're opening up more markets. It's about making sure we actually pass a farm bill and be supportive of it. And so there's no district more important to have a good leader ready to go. And we surround ourselves with a really good team on ag issues.
That's Nathan Willett joining us on Wake Up Missouri. He's in a crowded field for the seat formerly held by held presently by Sam Graves, but Sam's not running again in Congressional District 6 and running in the Republican primary just a few days away. He joins us on Wake Up Missouri.
Where do you come down on Amendment 4 and Amendment 5?
Yeah, those are up to the people to decide. Those are, state amendments. I'll say this, the governor did campaign on Amendment 5, and so he's putting together a proposal of it. I've heard concerns from people across the district about it, but also heard some people who've done the math who think it's a good deal for them, but that's up for the voters to decide. And the same thing on Amendment 4. I believe in IP reform, but you hear from people who think, well, what if they just did the 60% or 2/3 instead of this more extreme measure that have been easier to pass? And we'll see what happens on August 4th.
Now, you've held local elected office. I think that's even a more tough job than going to D.C. every day is the local office. How does that translate into the experience that you think is required in Congress?
Yeah, no, a local office, you go and vote and you go back and you see someone at the restaurant or grocery store or at school, because I teach in the morning and then go down to City Hall and teach them in the afternoon how to do math. But it's important because I'm the only one in the race who has a record of constituent services. I represent 90,000 constituents in Clay and Platte County, which is pretty large portion. And we have to be accountable if someone's trash is not picked up or recycling. My office makes sure we go out and do it ourselves. Or if someone's, snow's not been plowed in their neighborhood, I've been known to get in a snow plow myself to go get it done if there's one sitting aside. So being able to have that experience of already serving, having constituent services under my belt, knowing who you represent, it's the people. And I think that's very important. Local government is also, you try to go after federal grants. It's important that our next congressman puts our local leaders across our 33 counties in North Missouri in position to go after federal grants, making sure they have the local match or they meet the criteria if there's something out there, so the money doesn't just go to East or West Coast. It can actually come back here to North Missouri.
Talking with Nathan Willett on Wake Up Missouri. Now, you're a former Mizzou student body president and a degree in economics. Are we becoming the United Socialist States of America, even under several Republican administrations and Congresses? And what would you do about it, if so?
Yeah, well, you do see government grows quite a bit. I'll tell you firsthand experience. The climate cult, that's what I think is one of the most challenging things that we're dealing with and most extreme fight that we're going to have from here on out. Every time you have a Democrat administration, the climate cult gets in charge, and they try to incentivize the federal government, incentivizes local governments to adopt certain policies that make it more difficult to build. And so, for instance, in the Kansas City Council level, we adopted energy codes that made it anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 more expensive to build single-family homes. And we took a grant from the federal government to adopt those codes, but at the end of the day, it hurt our families here. And then another example, you see the free bus fare. In New York, you have the Zora and Madami, free everything, free grocery stores, free bus fare. I've actually worked to push back against free fare in Kansas City. We are now charging fare back again on our buses. There's too many assaults on bus drivers. You know this. If something's free, it's probably not good quality, and it's probably actually not free at all. And it was costing taxpayers a lot, and was not actually having a good service.
So we can take that as a vote for everyone ought to have skin in the game, right? Whether
yes, absolutely.
No matter what. Reminds me of what Bobby Jindal said. He said everyone ought to pay at least a little bit of tax. So they've got some skin in the game and stay interested. Well, from one UMSL alumnus to another, you have your master's in math from UMSL, right? Yeah, we graduated from UMSL.
Yeah, that was online, so never really stepped foot on campus there.
Well,
but it was
I asked the governor last week if he could make sure that the ice cream machines work. We're simple people at UMSL. We just get the job done. Hey, well, Nathan, we thank you for being with us. We wish you well in your quest as you head into the primary. How are things looking from your perspective?
Things are looking good. A lot of good momentum. We have the local endorsements that people trust. Over 12 county sheriffs, the fraternal order police endorsement, like you mentioned, the good ag groups. So people in North Missouri and the 33 counties from Clay County, Platte County, all the way to Marion County, please get out and vote next Tuesday, August 4th, and have a next generation of conservative leadership represent North Missouri.
Hey, one final question. Had a really wonderful tour of the Willett Distillery down in Louisville area several years ago. Any relation?
Yes, there is.
Really?
There's some relation there.
Oh, man. I love Rowan's Creek. We love that. Rowan's Creek is a beautiful... You like Rowan's Creek? It's a Willett brand. They have a beautiful still there. Have you visited the Willett Distillery, Nathan?
I have not been there myself, but the next time Mizzou plays in Kentucky, we might need to go by there.
I would do it, man. I'm telling you, it's a small family, and it sort of reminds me of your story as well. So good for you. Hey, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Now, I assumed that was just going to fall dead. Willett. That's a pretty common name. There's a relationship to the Willett. Have you been to the Willett Distillery?
No.
John?
Nope, never even heard of it.
You like a good bourbon?
Yeah, sure.
Good stuff. We had a guy that gave the tour. He was a math teacher, in fact. I should have shared that with Nathan. The math teacher, white-haired guy, just, really handsome, older man. He'd been just one of the kind of guy you want giving you the tour in Louisville at the Willett Distillery. And he had he just had those one-liner jokes that, those tour leaders will have. Beautiful. No, their rack house is wonderful. They manually do a lot of the changing of the, moving the barrels from one level to the other, the very air. It's really good.
Maybe that's his alter ego. Maybe he runs a distillery in Louisville.
I don't know. Yeah, that probably wasn't a good way to end the interview when he's talking about family and guns. Well, that's good. What's wrong with a little bourbon? As long as you just don't mix it with the guns.
That's it. Corn squeezings. That's America.
That's well, one of my favorite performers, speaking of Willett, Sinatra called that the nectar of the gods bourbon, don't you know?
Wasn't he also in with a mob? Wasn't that also his thing?
I'm talking about the nectar of the gods. I don't know about the other. I'm
pretty sure the FBI had a laundry list of him with a mob.
If you could get,
I love Sinatra. Don't get me wrong. I'm on your side.
You turn on a little of the right Sinatra song when you've got that date in the car, and you just ask her to listen to the lyrics. I'm telling you, man, it's good advice.
I would not take dating advice
the rock
from
tumbling earrings that I have still yet to receive.
You ask my wife. She loves when I turn Sinatra on when we're having a nice meal. I make the steak. She makes the beautiful accoutrements. Turn a little Sinatra on. Ladies, let me know out there. Am I wrong? It may be dated, but it's beautiful music. Beautiful
That's a little
lyrics.
different than the Tobler version of Fly Me to the Moon, I guess.
Fly Me to the
right?
Moon. Fly Me to the Zoom, yeah. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Pride is all around. I can't believe they're singing that at the Boone County Library. Gee. Back with leftovers after this.
It's Wake Up
understand it. I don't understand how they can see 1 million Americans die from dangerous research funded by the government and not be upset about that, not want to get to the bottom of that. So they complained they didn't have records. I have put all the records on an internet site for committee members for a year. Do you know how many Democrats looked at it? They have to get a password. Not one of them asked for the password. We told their offices, you can look at all of this. So they don't seem to care about the truth. I think they want to defend the government more than they want to get to the truth of, did your government actually fund something that led to a pandemic that killed 1 million Americans?
There was something there in Rand Paul's interview with Griff. I think the Democrats want to defend government. Welcome back into Wake Up Missouri. It's leftover time. Stephanie, I thought about that. That's really sort of the Democrat heart and soul, right? More government, big government, government's always right. That's one of the big dividing lines, I think, as people go to the polls on Tuesday and in a few months.
Yeah, November.
Yeah. What do you have?
The one thing I haven't gotten to today yet is flying burritos.
What?
Apparently, yesterday, the company that runs DoorDash started a new company, a drone delivery business, DoorDash Air. And yesterday, they got certification from the FAA to operate a commercial drone delivery service. So now your $8 burrito that's driven to you by a car that's $22 will be $50 because it's going to be on a drone, apparently. They're going to start it up this fall. What, Drake?
I don't think it's going to be that much more expensive. Maybe
less.
short
I
term.
don't know.
Well, I mean,
might be less.
As someone who used to do DoorDash and Uber Eats, you get paid a base rate. You have to tip.
Yep.
You have to they increase it for how long they have to travel because of gas.
They said
there's a lot of cost.
They said the drones are intended to cut costs per delivery and speed them up. They said the shorter trips are usually expensive and it takes some time.
Cost to the company, anytime you take the human resources element out of it, goes down, 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 down. Even, you can account for the technology and everything, but man, the costs related to all of the employment rules are outrageous. That's one of the biggest reasons. I think
But imagine all the lawyers when you get hit in the head with a flying burrito.
Ooh, yeah. Or if the drone delivers it to me and not to you, right? Because we live, we're in little row houses or whatever,
Yeah, I don't know how this is going to work.
I think I'm going to start camping out around Broadway and chuck spears at the drones as they fly over so I can get free meals.
There you go.
I had a buddy who's out in Colorado with his family vacationing. He sent me a picture. I swear it looked like you took it with something like our good friend LG, the photographer here at Zimmer, took with the most expensive piece of glass on the most expensive camera body, modified however he would do it afterward, edited. And it was he said it's like a $300 drone. It was a picture of the little city he's in where, I don't know, they're vacationing in, summer Colorado. It looked like a postcard. I kid you not. It was unbelievable.
No, drones are super cool and they're getting a lot cheaper. And I'm thinking about getting into drones and all that kind of stuff.
I couldn't believe the quality of the picture, though.
Oh, yeah. It's insane.
You'd be amazed at the drones that the public safety agencies are operating now and the resolution on the cameras from altitude.
Well, I know Conservation did a survey. We have sort of a deer co-op area that we run, and so the Conservation Department was able to came out and did some work. And a drone operator, I couldn't believe they could tell you how many points on the deer's antler, for crying out loud. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I know that some sheriff's offices are using drones to find people in case of emergency and all of that. That's a thing that's starting
that's wonderful.
Get implemented in at least Missouri.
I mean, man, technology, the times we're living in, unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's a shame that Stephanie's so down on tech all the time. Try to work on her all the time. Darn it.
Oh, in other big news, Freddie says he's coming back to the U.S. and he's going to do a road trip, a college football road trip.
Oh,
my
this
gosh.
fall. Check out his Twitter.
The college road trip with Freddie. That'll be a running theme. We'll have some fun with it. Well, we had some fun today, and we had some serious stuff today. That's the way it usually goes. Tomorrow on Feel Good Friday, we hope you'll be with us, too. Thanks for being here.
Bye.